The Department of Justice once seized a Hollywood film because it was bought with stolen government money. That film was Wolf of Wall Street, a movie about stealing from ordinary people, funded by stealing from ordinary people. Martin Scorsese kept the Oscar. Malaysia kept the debt. My name is Lana X, and tonight we go inside the most expensive joke ever told, at the expense of people who never got the punchline. Jho Low grew up in Malaysia. Comfortable family. Not rich, just comfortable. Then Harrow School in England, the same school that produced Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill helped save the world. Jho Low helped himself to it. Then Wharton Business School, one of the most prestigious programs in America. And here's what 4 years at Wharton actually taught him. Not finance, not economics. He learned that rich people are more afraid of looking poor than they are of asking hard questions. Feed that fear, and you can walk into any room on earth. At Wharton, he threw parties, paid for everything, every night, for everyone. His classmates assumed he had family money. He didn't. He was running a social Ponzi scheme on Ivy League students with zero consequences. Graduated. And then ran the exact same scheme on an entire country. Wharton Business School, producing the future leaders of tomorrow. And apparently also this. Nobody asked where his money came from. They never do when the bottle is already open. In 2009, Malaysia launched a sovereign wealth fund. 1MDB, the pitch, raise money, invest it, build the nation. In practice, an open till with a government stamp on it. Jho Low held no government position, no title, no office, and yet became the shadow operator of this entire fund. How? He got close to Prime Minister Najib Razak. More specifically, he got very close to Najib's wife, Rasma Manzur, a woman who, when investigators finally entered her properties, had 12,000 pieces of jewelry, 567 handbags, 423 watches. If she wore a different bag every single day, it would take her a year and a half to finish the collection. She was not a shopaholic. She was a shopping industrial complex. With Malaysia's pension fund as her central bank, Goldman Sachs. Goldman helped 1MDB raise $6.5 billion. Goldman charged $600 million in fees, standard market rate $30 million. Goldman charged 20 times the going rate. Their defense, the client was willing to pay. That's the whole defense. Goldman didn't just service this client, they serviced them completely with no protection and sent the bill to Malaysia. Goldman later paid $2.9 billion in fines. 0 executives went to prison. Because for Goldman, $2.9 billion is not a punishment. It is a convenience fee. Of the $6.5 billion raised, $4.5 billion disappeared. Not lost, not mismanaged, disappeared. Through shell companies across the British Virgin Islands, Cayman Islands, Singapore, Luxembourg, layer after layer, later described by forensic experts as the most elaborate money laundering scheme ever uncovered. Which sounds impressive until you realize the elaborate part was mostly opening offshore accounts and counting on bankers not to ask uncomfortable questions. They didn't. They never do when the commission is big enough. Let's follow the money, because it doesn't sit still. It moves. It breathes. It goes to Vegas. Jho Low reportedly spent $100 million on a single Las Vegas trip. $100 million. One weekend. The average American earns $70,000 a year. He spent what a typical family earns in 1,400 years on one trip to a city designed to make you feel like you're winning while you lose. He bought a $35 million penthouse in New York, a $23 million mansion in LA. Then the Equanimity $250 million, one of the largest private yachts on earth, he flew Britney Spears in for a private New Year's Eve show. Partied with DiCaprio, Paris Hilton, Kanye West, half of Hollywood showing up, taking the money, asking 0 questions. Because when someone is buying the champagne, nobody investigates the seller. Then the movie. Wolf of Wall Street, Scorsese, DiCaprio. 3 hours celebrating a man who steals from ordinary people, partially funded by Jho Low, with stolen Malaysian pension money. The DOJ later seized the film's rights as part of the investigation. So, a film about stealing from ordinary people, funded by stealing from ordinary people, won awards while Malaysian nurses unknowingly covered Jordan Belfort's fake tan. The irony is so thick it has its own offshore account. Now here is where I need you to stop laughing. Because these people, these teachers, these nurses, these factory workers, their pensions, their taxes, their country's future were Jho Low's entertainment budget. They did not go to Vegas. They did not meet Britney. They did not see the yacht. They got the invoice. By 2015, threads started pulling. Wall Street Journal investigating. Whistleblowers leaking. Journalists publishing. So the Malaysian government did what power does when the truth becomes inconvenient. They made the truth illegal. Attorney General investigating 1MDB fired. New laws passed, making it illegal to report on 1MDB. Journalists sued. Sources disappeared. Then Najib made his boldest move. $681 million appeared in his personal bank account. His explanation, a donation from a Saudi royal family member, not to the government, not to a charity, to his personal account. The Saudi royal family said, "We sent nothing." Najib said, "Well, some of it went back." Some. He returned some of a $681 million donation that didn't exist, and delivered that sentence like a man who fully expected to be believed. The confidence alone should be studied in business schools right next to Jho Low's party trick. Meanwhile, Jho Low ran, passport revoked, Interpol red notice, every government filing charges. He's reportedly living in China or the Middle East, comfortable, relaxed, fed, because an Interpol red notice is apparently less of a law enforcement instrument and more of a strongly worded LinkedIn endorsement. Here's the part that gets buried. 1MDB borrowed money it never planned to repay. $7.8 billion fell on Malaysia. On the taxpayer, on the teacher earning $800 a month, on the nurse pulling doubles in an understaffed hospital, on the factory worker whose retirement fund was Jho Low's weekend in Vegas. And for the American audience, this is not someone else's problem. The money moved through American banks, American law firms, New York real estate, Goldman Sachs, Manhattan. American institutions didn't just watch this happen. Some of them held the door open. Goldman paid the fine. The shell company network's intact. The offshore secrecy laws intact. The system that swallowed $4.5 billion is completely operational. Ready to go again? Najib Razak convicted. 12 years. Currently serving. Razma convicted. 10 years. The handbags auctioned. Jho Low free. Goldman fine paid. Open for business. The Malaysian people still paying. Steal a bicycle prison. Steal $4.5 billion through shell companies across 6 countries with help from one of the world's biggest banks. You get a fine, a documentary deal, and years to negotiate from a comfortable location. The scale of the crime is the protection. My name is Lana X. The Wolf of Wall Street made $392 million at the box office. The people who funded it stole $4.5 billion. The people who actually paid for it are still paying. The truth always leaks. Subscribe. Next week, we go somewhere even darker.